shoes on the wrong feet.
Yeah. Yeah, I know.
Trying to clod around the
I'm using a
living
different
room.
microphone and it feels weird.
Yeah,
right
it's
now.
not right.
Yeah.
This isn't right.
Yeah, I know. I've got the good one. All right, so we can make you uncomfortable the entire time.
That sounds good. That'll
Yeah.
keep me on my toes. That's good.
It also seems weird that we don't have the fourth person right there. Oh, there she is.
Here she comes.
There she is, making a grand entrance.
Hello.
So everybody has to look.
Oh, we're not putting you on the spot.
No, it's just part of my plan to be noticed more.
And then she walks
Look
away.
at me,
And
everybody.
then she comes back.
I'm gonna make it big.
It's okay. I've seen this on the Tonight Show a lot. Sometimes they just start the show without him.
Oh, yeah.
Oh
Make sure
my
you're
God.
comfy.
Oh my God! Okay, we'll be back in about 5 minutes once we get this squared
That
away
was
in
the
here.
longest radio that anyone's ever seen.
All right, we are all here. Okay, it looks like we are live right now. Hello, everyone. This is Trends with Benefits. This is our weekly roundtable tech podcast here at Digital Trends, where we talk about the tech topics of the day, and there's a lot to discuss today. So we're broadcasting live on Facebook and YouTube, in addition to being the podcast that you should totally subscribe to on iTunes, wherever you get your podcasts. Today, we're going to cover a robot delivering fast food again. We've got the Atari VCS, Atari's new Atari box that is going to be coming out. We found out some more information about that. We'll be covering that. Uber's big terrible week, and we'll discuss some autonomous cars. We've got Face ID to cover, but the topic of the day, which I am not beyond understanding the irony that we are broadcasting live on Facebook, is Facebook. And our question today is, have you considered deleting your Facebook account? And the reason that we're talking about that is, as we all know this week, a lot of revelations came out about Facebook either selling your data or allowing access to data, allowing companies to gain access to all of your data and your friends' data and using that to manipulate elections, manipulate your account, of course, the ads you see, and everything that goes along with that. I'm seeing a lot of people coming in here already, a lot of comments coming through on Facebook about
Coming in
Facebook. So Paul says, still thinking about it, actually. Ryan, yep. Bruce says, I'll delete mine now. Peace out. Just wait a half hour if you're going to do it. Just wait 1/2 hour.
Yeah.
30
the
more
rest of
minutes.
this.
30 more minutes. That's all we ask. And then go ahead and delete that. But let's introduce who we've got here today, and then we'll go through with this, and we'll talk about everything that you're coming up with and these topics in general. I'm Greg Nibbler. To my right.
Neve Jackson, Team
Neve.
Flapjack.
Yes, indeed.
Ryan Juanita of Between the Streams.
Yes.
Haha, plug.
Plug. Shameless plug. Between the Streams. Friday at 2 p.m.
And Adrian Warner, aka Hot Nozzle.
Hot Nozzle, who came in here late.
Hot Nozzle's
Hot
coming in hot.
Coming in hot. All right.
Coming in slow.
So
Nozzles aren't always fast projectiles.
I guess not.
No, that landed
we'll just let
poorly.
people figure that out. We won't even explain why she's Hot Nozzle. All right, so we have a lot of comments, like I said, that are coming through here. It seems like a lot of people have considered deleting your Facebook page. Ferlin says, I've considered it, but I have no money tied to Facebook in any way. And that's the other thing. There's a lot of issues that come up with that, because if you have any kind of a business, generally speaking, I don't see how you can get off of Facebook.
Have you considered not using email anymore?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's such a valuable platform for businesses, and there's not really an easy replacement for that for reaching other people, or if you're in a band, or if you're in any kind of thing. Really, it's one of the best ways to reach it. And so I want to go through each one of these, but let's Hanif, what about you? Have you ever considered deleting your Facebook page?
Yeah, a couple times. I've actually done it once and then gone back and reactivated. You know,
Yeah.
it's because of the exact reason that you say it's such a useful business platform, or even just a professional platform. Like when you're trying to reconnect with old contacts, maybe you're like looking for a job, you know, that kind of thing. And, you know, all your contacts that you were with in college or whatever, they're all on Facebook. So if you need to reach back to them, that's, you know, it's not like you have constant contact with these people on your phone, but you might be friends with them on Facebook. So
Yeah.
that's why I went back to it eventually, and that just kind of led to me sticking around, because it just kept growing and growing, and you know, everything from restaurants to movie tickets, it's all there in the app now. So yeah, I've kind of just accepted it for what it is now. You know, I think a long time ago I've realized that our privacy is not really that private anymore. So
you're just, that's it. That's how it is.
Yeah,
You know,
just-
I'm okay not having any protection on that.
I think it's just kind of the status quo now. I mean, if we volunteer to put that information out there, and we just kind of have to accept what happens.
Okay. Ryan, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, well, in some ways, the damage is done, right, for that.
Yeah. For what's already happened? Yeah, absolutely.
All of us here in the editorial department can't, because currently, at least, our comments are all linked to Facebook so that we can't get, teams of trolls just taking over posts. It's the way to authenticate.
Sounds very personal right there.
And there are probably 30 of those different points in which you might need it.
I didn't even think of that, but yeah, it is tied to work as well.
But what's interesting...
And for a lot of businesses, that's how it's tied if you have an online business.
And who uses LinkedIn? I mean, it could be a way to get jobs as well. Like, there's so many different avenues that it's sort of, its tentacles have explored their way into your life. But the thing for me is I have 2 big points about this. One, I haven't used Facebook more than checking it like email once a day for at least 6 months, if not longer. I spend way too much time on Twitter. But I guess I've just traded one for the other. But I get my news there, and I just am tired of, mom talk and just, all the Facebook things that come with people whining about their life or saying how great their life is, all that stuff. But 2, the other point to it is basically... Facebook itself is just, I don't understand how people are now upset. I mean, Facebook has been doing all kinds of terrible things. We talked about this at the beginning, and I'm always confused about which is the boiling point. I think people were more mad about this one because it was people's friends getting them. They were taking information from people's friends about them. So your information got in there because your friend shared it, essentially. That's how this one worked, and that's kind of scary because I have a lot of Facebook friends who do all kinds of things that I wouldn't do, who are not very careful. So I think that's the thing that really got it. But it's just like a lot of things. Like we were talking about the Bill O'Reilly firing. It's like he had been in lawsuits with women for years, and then all of a sudden it just was a boiling point, and all the advisors piled on, and he was. Or all the advertisers piled on and he was gone. But it's like these things happen and I'm always confused as, now you're mad.
Now, yeah, I agree. I think it's kind of weird what tipping point. I guess that this one specifically can be tied to one single nefarious outcome. So I think that's what finally makes it click in people's minds. I mean, I've definitely considered deleting my Facebook account, but like you said, for like promo, it's absolutely impossible.
It's invaluable.
It's so valuable. Their calendaring system is valuable. Promoting is valuable. If you have zero money, it's the only way to get your word out there. I mean, Twitter is also a valuable asset, but it kind of combines all of the perfect avenues of social media of like imaging, status updates, like a landing page for what you need, and also their messenger is really, really useful.
Super handy,
It's really tough to break away from all of that.
But that being said, I have multiple friends who have, I don't think they've deleted them, but totally frozen their accounts and turned everything off.
Really?
Yeah.
So
a lot of people I know are just haven't used it for quite a while now.
But do you think that's going to be another issue if they turn it off for a couple of months and then they come back on?
No, it's been years.
For a couple of them.
Yeah.
So for a long time.
But they switched to things like Instagram, which is also owned by Facebook.
Yes.
So it's like, are you really quitting? I don't know.
Yeah, there's a couple of comments coming in here. One I did want to bring up. So Tom says, you're being held hostage. Get something. And
gumption?
I understand
Did
what
you
you're
say
saying.
gumption?
Yeah, gumption. It was
That's the
Watch
word
your
you
mouth.
Get some gumption. But no, I mean, I see what you're saying. Yeah, just delete it. Just get off of it. Which, by the way, Tom, you're on it as well. So the thing, though, is, everything that Adrian just brought up. Like, if you do have any kind of personal project to promote and you don't have the money to go other avenues, I mean, it's a really valuable way. Businesses are tied into it. I mean, Facebook, let's be honest, there's a reason it's worth billions of dollars. They've done a really good job of integrating into every part of our lives. So it's not really, a lot of times it's not as simple as just like, I'm going to shut it off. Well, okay, then you lose your contacts. You lose, the business avenues. You use promotion avenues. You lose commenting. There's a lot of things that go into it. So it's really hard.
I mean, you know what I was thinking about too, just with all this happening, is all these pictures. I am terrible about putting pictures online. I have them somewhere stored away in a couple different drives, one in an Apple, cloud drive and one in a Google cloud drive, and they're not combined. There's some on hard drives. So there are years of my life stored on this thing that, like, you know, my wife has put on there or friends have put on there. So then you would lose all those images too, because you can't take them with you when you go.
I mean,
you could download them.
That's true.
If you
I guess
wanted
they
to.
didn't allow you to download them now. Is that because they didn't allow that for years?
They
You can't
did it for a
embed
while.
them, I don't think.
Okay.
But yeah, you
You can like reverse download things now again.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, then that's easier, I guess.
How would the internet know how into corgis I am. If they didn't have Facebook, it'd be a tragedy.
That's true. Corgis are so hot right now.
They are hot.
Right? I mean, and that's the thing. Like, we all use it so much that it's. I respect. I do have some friends too that have never used it, and I'm like, good for you. It's like you didn't try it. Like, you didn't try the heroin. Good for you. You stayed off of it. I mean, but
it's
too
also
late.
sort of a Luddite attitude, It's like,
It is. Yeah, yeah. But some of them, they have jobs or their business. They don't need it. They can get by just fine without it. Yeah. So good for them. But yeah, it is a difficult thing, and that's why I'm always curious. It seems that people have some really big attitudes, and I'm seeing a lot of, you can delete it. I would delete it. Derek says, "LOL, you can't delete, only deactivate." Oh, I would think can you delete it completely? Yeah, I'm pretty sure you can. And actually, now that I say that, we've got a guide at digitaltrends.com all about that, about how to delete it, and also how to go through your settings and take a look at what information you are sharing and what Facebook has profiled you as. I mean, took a look at mine. Apparently, Facebook thinks I'm into kitten, singular. One kitten, apparently. Not kittens or cats, which I don't share cat videos.
It's a band.
Yeah. They also think I'm into thermal insulation, which I'm not entirely sure what else involved in that.
It's because your friend... So what happens is your friend has a business that they're starting.
That does thermal insulation.
And they ask you to like it, and you like their page, and then Facebook thinks you like that thing. That's what happened to me, too. I had all kinds of weird ones like that.
Weird. Yeah, it is interesting, like, what they have. So I highly suggest, and again, we have these articles at digitaltrends.com. I'm seeing a bunch of people asking, how do you delete? How do you check this stuff? We've got guides on how to do that, how to both go through all of your settings, and if you do want to delete, we've got an entire guide on how to actually get your account fully deleted. So check those out on the website and let us know. That's how you can go about it. That's what you can do. So obviously this is a big issue for a lot of people. And again, the irony is not lost that we're broadcasting live on Facebook and YouTube as well. And I'm seeing some comments on there, but it's such an integral part of our lives. And I know we need to get to the other topics, but
I just have one thing to say is and it's not an answer, but whether Facebook is actually going to do anything preventative about it, considering they've been in all of these messes and they've known about it for years, well into the early 2010s, and I just don't know if they're going to actually ever be proactive.
I mean, they've done a few things. They're rechecking. They're now making sure that. They're auditing so that the things that were supposed to be deleted weren't deleted with design. What is it called? Or Cambridge?
Cambridge Analytics.
Analytics, sorry.
Yeah.
And then they're doing things like putting your privacy settings on the top of the page. Supposedly, this was all from Zuckerberg's recent Wednesday finally breaking of the silence. But there's a lot of questions about whether it's too little, too late.
It's a little bit of self-responsibility too, right? Just knowing what you're contributing to the pool, and just taking time to do a little bit of house cleaning, taking time to go into those privacy settings and actually looking at them.
But I think, again, that's the scary thing, is that this was your friends sharing data about you.
Right. Yeah. When you opt into those polls.
That's I think, one of the reasons this was the boiling point.
What kind of cheese
people.
am I? You're sharing all that information to everybody else. So, which I think I'd be a pepper jack.
The Russians love that stuff. Love it.
So again, a lot of people asking about this. We're posting the links here on Facebook about how to delete your Facebook page. But we'll also just go to digitaltrends.com, and you can take a look at all of that on there and let us know, or go, like I said, go ahead and follow that in order to go that route. We do have some other things that we do need to get to just to cover. I did want to bring this up, and continuing along these lines, some other news that came out. I want to talk about the Uber autonomous car issue and see what you think about that. See, especially everybody that's listening live right now, how you feel about what happened with the crash. Before we get to that, something that I think is a pretty good application of Face ID is at LAX now. So Lufthansa has been running some tests to use Face ID for their boarding system, which we all know boarding is one of the worst parts. Deboarding is probably the worst, but for me, boarding a plane is one of the worst parts of travel, and I like
I'd
travel.
say boarding is the worst for me.
Boarding, yeah.
Boarding
Sitting there and waiting for people, and then waiting for them to get up to the counter, and then somehow forget that they have to show, your boarding pass, or, I need to pull it up on my phone. Come on.
Yeah.
It's so frustrating. And now Lufthansa has a new system where they've got a bunch of little stands that you walk through. there's a camera on there. It scans your face. It matches you up with what is in the Customs and Border Protections database in real time, and boom, you're on. They said they loaded a 350 passenger plane in 20 minutes.
Wow.
Not bad.
That is pretty impressive. And so that's one way that they're going to do this. They said, let's see, Monday, March 19th, they're going to launch it. Yeah, so I think that's going to happen if you're boarding a Lufthansa plane in LAX. Now, I like that idea. I like the use of that. How do you feel?
I think it's a great idea. I'm curious to see like how robust it is and how consistent it is, right?
Right.
As far as like, you know, people that look similar, people in the same family, that kind of thing.
That's true. Yeah.
You know. So yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, if the system is robust. But speaking of that, that's the other thing I want to bring up with Face ID, talking about being hacked. You know, if you look like someone, here it is on the other end, and this comes out of China. A Chinese group has done a study, and they've figured out how to trick Face ID systems, which is, you know, the worst nightmare. This is something out of, it's clearly going to be a movie at some point of somebody using software to trick Face ID. And that what they've done is it's with a ball cap, and underneath the ball cap, they've put in tiny little lights that will, LED lights, that will flash at the Face ID and can trick it into thinking you're someone else.
Oh, weird.
So as long as you look remotely similar to this other person, here's what they're saying, is that it'll work 70% of the time. They even were able to trick it into thinking, the Face ID system, to thinking they were Moby. The person like Moby, like, for
So wait,
some reason.
the lights have like a certain rhythm that
Yes.
replicates someone's face?
The lights have a certain rhythm that throw it off.
But how do you look like someone's face? That's like an algorithm or something?
It's, yeah.
Like you could pick a face that you wanted to look like? I thought it was just...
No, you can't pick the face. I think this just happened. The guy...
The face picks
Okay.
you.
Yeah, the face
Okay.
picks you. But I mean, this is
But
the
you
start.
can screw with the system so they don't know where you are or who
Yes.
you are.
I mean,
should say.
this is obviously just the beginning. I think the idea is eventually you'd be able to trick it into thinking you're someone else.
So it's the hat of
Someone
1,000
specific.
faces.
Oh, there we go. That was pretty good.
I tried.
I'm giving you credit for that one. That was good. But yeah, that's where they're at with it. So that's what they're trying to do. I mean, which I think is kind of the worst nightmare of all of this Face ID stuff.
I'm curious, do they have to take an image of your face before you buy the plane ticket? Or, you know, when you go into the airport, how do they recognize that it's you?
You're already in the system, is what they're
How?
saying. So the U.S. border. Let me pull it up here.
Facebook.
Cambridge, you've done it again.
So they are saying that it compares, and I'm sorry, I'm going to get exact details. Again, all these details are at digitaltrends.com. It's compared to the U.S. Customs and Border Protections database.
Oh,
so that's
okay.
your passport photo, I'm imagining,
yeah.
Yes.
Right.
Okay, gotcha.
is what they have. So yeah, they have all that. They've got all that on you.
I like it just because the flight system, but like flying is so riddled with delays. I think that this could help out a lot.
Yeah.
I think that's a great idea. I'm also like, what is the jankier version of this going to be? Like, I fly Southwest a lot. I'm not rich enough to fly Lufthansa. Like,
I mean, and that's when you say boarding. That's why I hate boarding. Is
Yeah.
whenever I fly Southwest, it's just a
Oh,
nightmare.
it is the
Really?
worst. You always get that person too that tries to skip up ahead.
Or
a little
sits in the
bit.
middle and like
it's
Oh,
like I
yeah.
don't
Stuff
understand.
everywhere.
I
where
didn't
I
know.
stand. Like,
Yeah, you knew.
numbers. Yes.
Yeah.
Nice try. Well, that's what's happening at LAX.
Well, and you imagine they gotta have the guy who's like, or you know, the
Yeah.
person there who's like, oh, it's not working for you. I can do it manually, like the checkout line when
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
doing
yeah.
self checkout. There's got to be the person there with the
Oh.
thing.
God, I hate self-checkout for those people. There needs to be a test, a license for self-checkout.
Yeah, those are not the most usually like hop to it people either. It's like
No.
I'll be there when I'm there.
Exactly. That's where the licensing needs
You
to go
wanted
into.
to buy some beer, did you?
That's what Congress needs to tackle right now. All right, let's bounce on to a couple of the topics here that we have. And again, we're broadcasting live on Facebook and YouTube, in addition to the podcast. So subscribe to the podcast wherever you get those, and then you get all of our episodes and everything else here from Digital Trends. So Uber, the other big news this week, and it's no secret, but in case you didn't know, Uber's been testing out their autonomous cars. I think in Pittsburgh for some of it for them, but also in Arizona. And this week there was a fatal crash with an autonomous car. Now these have to have a driver, a human behind the wheel, but it sounds like they're not always paying attention because they're supposed to be there to take over in emergencies if the car is having an issue or not paying attention to something like a bicyclist crossing the road. And the video has come out. It shows the person. Looks like she's looking at her phone. All of that. But the bottom line is the car didn't recognize this person, this autonomous car that we're supposed to be looking forward to happening everywhere, where we're going to have these autonomous vehicles. And I don't know. I wanted to know what people's thoughts were on that, if that's going to dissuade you from actually getting in one, because they're going to be happening. But does that make you less likely to ride an autonomous car, I guess? That's the question.
I mean, yeah, it's not ready yet, and so it's not going to happen for a long time. That's why I brought up that LiDAR thing that Nick Moki wrote. There are multiple systems that still need to be in place before these things are ready. And also the AI needs to get better. So not only does the cars need apparently 2 kinds of LiDAR, which is like a laser kind of radar basically, and regular radar. It's like broad view, near view LiDAR and regular radar, just to have the full view of what the car needs to see, let alone to make the decisions it needs to make, which is a whole other process that needs to happen. But I also have to say, like, I feel, I know the driver should have been paying attention. It was dark. The person was crossing at not the right spot. And I think it must be really easy to kind of get lulled into a sense of, like, security and just, apathy when you're sitting there not driving, hour after hour in one of those cars. So I feel bad for everybody involved. But, yeah, it's an obvious point that it's not ready yet. And there will be more of these stumbles, and there will be bigger questions to answer as this becomes more ubiquitous.
It just seems so bizarre because the point of having that human operator in there was, I thought, to prevent these types of things. So the fact that, like you said, he just kind of got lulled off in a daze maybe and just was, felt like it was all good, and then clearly it wasn't.
But even so, how many people are killed every single day by human error in cars?
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
So even if the person was paying attention, they may not have caught it. So, I mean, maybe they would have, but...
Sounds like it was, there's so many contributing factors. It was dark. Somebody darted out in the middle of the road, not at a crosswalk. The person behind the, human point of stopping the car was looking at their phone, obviously. It could have happened without driverless technology.
Oh, I think it very well could have happened with any driver.
Yeah.
And all those are fair points, and some people are making the same points actually online. But do you think this will affect, like, the public perception of these? Will this have a lasting effect where it gets ingrained of, oh no, autonomous cars will kill you, or do you think this will just go away?
Well, I think for one thing, they're always, once they start rolling out, they're probably going to be much, much, much lower percentage of fatalities with autonomous cars once they get it clicked in. I don't know that, but I assume that. And I also think, like, from a public perception standpoint, unfortunately, this will become one of those memories that people just kind of later forget about, pretty quickly.
Yeah. Let's see, Aaron just said... like they said from Uber, it was dark. The road looked clear enough, for the AI. So, and that's the thing. Would a human have caught that? I don't know. I mean, obviously, this human should have been paying attention, but that, like you said, it's really easy to get lulled into that. So, I'm just curious to see where this goes. But you're right. Down the line, autonomous cars will save a lot more lives.
And they're coming, one way or another.
Yeah, they are.
So,
regardless.
I think safety is always going to be a thought in people's minds. I mean, it's like no different than flying on an airplane. It's like in the back of your head, you might think, oh man, is this thing going to go down? But it's like, that's not really at the forefront because you know that it's safe and there's safety measures in place.
The likelihood.
But do airplane crashes happen? Yeah, all the time.
Yeah, well, and the other thing is the thing that we've talked about many times, is the trolley question.
Yeah.
Will your autonomous car kill you to save a busload of nuns? And is that how it should be programmed?
Right. Yeah, or will it save you?
And that's just it's a broader
problem.
philosophical question, but it's definitely something that's coming with the onset of this technology.
Well, it's a philosophical question, but ultimately it's going to be a programming
will be a practical question.
It's a programming
Absolutely.
issue. Somebody's going to have to decide that.
Will every car automatically be programmed to save the driver at all costs?
Yeah, maybe there's a
is
switch.
There an in between there?
They'll probably put it up
the
to you.
driver
You
can
decide.
control.
Yeah.
Yeah. Save humanity, save yourself.
In the instance where a bus full of nuns.
and then people are going to find out what you had your car programmed to. Well, yeah, his programmed to his car programmed to self, so he wasn't exactly the best guy.
That's how you start judging people. It's like the airbag thing. It's like,
And
nuns,
everyone secretly has it set to self. Let's be honest.
that is a good point.
Oh man.
All right, last couple of things.
Including the Pope. In case you were wondering.
All right, last couple of things that we want to get to. Atari. This is just switching gears a little bit. The Atari, we've heard that Atari was going to come out with a new system, the Atari box, for a while, and now we've got kind of a first look here at it. It's the Atari VCS. Is what they're going to call it, the video control system. Computing system. Excuse me, video computing system.
I like that wood grain on the front. Look at that.
And they've got a couple of different models. But yeah, one kind of looks like an Atari 2600 style. One's a black and red as far as what they look like. They have the retro joysticks.
That is cool.
And you can sign up on their website now. They're saying pre-sale is actually going to start sometime in April, I believe.
Yeah.
And Hanif, what can you tell us about this?
It's supposed to be in April. So this is using AMD hardware. It's using their Radeon graphics chips as well as their processors. Atari is saying that it's supposed to be the PC solution for your living room, basically, right? So it's kind of like Steam Machine or any one of those like all-in-one living room PCs.
So like a media PC, basically.
Yeah, it's using Linux technology, so it's going to be all Linux-based stuff there. I think it's good, but maybe it's a couple years too late. A lot of people are going to be gravitating to this for the retro aspect, the same reason why people went back to the re-released Super Nintendos and the re-released NESs. It's all about that. It's old, but it's new again kind of thing, But in this case, this is something pretty new. I mean, for Atari at least, putting out a console, this first console they've put out since the 80s, I believe. I don't think they've done another rendition since. So yeah, I'm curious. Am I going to pick it up? Maybe. The price point's good. It's between $250 and $300, which is standard console pricing. So they're not asking for a lot. But when you compare it to the other consoles, like the mainstream ones, like Xbox and PlayStation, it's not going to hold a candle.
If you're positioning it as a media PC,
yeah.
So hopefully you can connect a keyboard to it if you want.
Yeah,
and
sure.
I mean that's something. I mean, a lot of people don't want to build their own, and a media PC is going to cost you $200 or $300 right there anyway. So then if you got the gaming built in, the retro aspect, there's something there.
And I think they're being really clear to say that this is not an all-in-one system. They're saying this is what it does. This is all that it can do. Here you go.
I thought you were able to modify the OS. Weren't you? So
it's Linux. So I'm assuming there is going to be an open source aspect to it. I'm not 100% on the software side of things. I just looked at the hardware specs.
Yeah. I mean, they haven't released a ton of information. I know you can sign up now on the website, and they said sometime in April pre-sales will go on, but that doesn't really mean.
Yeah, I guess the other question is it going to be
when are you
Nintendo?
Get it? How much is it?
Is it going to be a Nintendo thing where they have 12 of them?
Right. Yeah.
And then they sell out.
Well, they did announce the colors. You can get that classic wood grain like we just saw.
Gotta get
or
that
you
wood
can
grain.
get the black. I think it's like with like red trim if you're looking to get a little bit edgier.
The Tronny thing.
Yeah. Going for the Tronny look, please.
Just like Tronny, I guess.
Well, so you can read about that at digitaltrends.com for
Tronish.
the Atari VCS. I know we're running out of time. The last thing I wanted to get to, because this seems to be a theme over the last few weeks, is robots and fast food. They are meeting faster than you know. This is the most heavy-hitting question or topic of the day.
How dare they take our jobs?
So now, if you've seen the videos before of Pepper's probably one of the most famous robots now in the world.
Quick side story. Our British writer, we were at MWC, and he kept talking about Peppa, and I thought it was spelled P-E-P-A. Peppa the robot. They can't say they're ours, folks. Okay, go ahead.
Well, we just lost Britain. All right, so
and there goes that audience.
Andy, I love you.
Well, Pepper is now they're testing this out in Singapore at a Pizza Hut. I guess it's just kind of a concept. They're not saying when this would roll out everywhere, but you can show up at Pizza Hut and order pizza from Pepper, who will make recommendations for you along the way. Along with a nifty little
It's really just an iPad strapped to
on there. But Pepper talks to you and gives you recommendations.
I've talked to Pepper. She's pretty cool.
They say in a chatty manner. And there's a video of Pepper interacting with this guy as they are trying to order a pizza. So the idea, the concept combined with everything else that we've talked about of I'm forgetting the burger's name.
Yeah, I mean, then backstage they have like the robot arms that are flipping burgers.
Cali Burger.
Cali Burger,
like
yeah. And I can't remember the name of their burger bot, but I think the idea is gonna start taking hold, where robotics are gonna start taking over fast food.
I just like imagining the one
cheap.
like teenage manager who's like, "You guys," and then there's like all it's just him and all robots. You weren't supposed to take a break yet.
Pepper 3572. What are you doing?
Somewhere in there, Simpsons style, like,
Yeah.
"You guys,
Oh no.
I told you that was supposed to be mayo free."
Yes, the manager of the
And
Peppers.
it's just robots everywhere.
Peppers hanging
I
out
don't
by the dumpster.
Smoking cigarettes on the
Way too long on the
Back
break.
there checking out their new tattoos.
Get back to work.
I mean, let's be honest, it can't get any worse in fast food, so there's
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
aspect to it as far as the service goes. I don't know.
That's true. All right. Well, anyway, maybe you can order a pizza from Pepper before too long. All right. I think that's about it for today. We're out of time. And I want to say thank you to everybody for tuning in live on Facebook before you delete your account. Thanks for waiting until now. And of course, on
Sweet
YouTube, we are on there as well. But the most important thing is subscribe to the audio podcast. So go into wherever you get your podcasts, type in Digital Trends. You'll see not only Trends with Benefits, but Between the Streams, another show that we do here live tomorrow, Friday at 2 p.m. Pacific, also on Facebook and YouTube, but then as a podcast too. Subscribe to both of those. Make sure you get those every week. And thanks for joining us. We'll be back next week with another episode.
Peppa.
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 Peppa. Peppa.
Peppa.